Hello friends. So here's a Q&A question for you. We've been talking a lot in class. Do you think if you were a client and you were working with an art therapist, would you prefer that the art therapist make art along with you, or should the art therapist not make any art? So there's different ways an art therapist could make art. For example, they could work with you on a drawing or a painting. There might be some things you want to express that you can't figure out how to draw, in which case the art therapist, if they have a background in art, they probably either had a minor or a major in it undergrad, could help you draw that. Other times the art therapist might take notice of what you're drawing, and they might, on a separate piece of paper, try and draw the same thing the same way, so that they can feel the way your muscles are working, and they can sort of feel the type of emotion that you're putting into it. If you're scribbling really hard, they might try and pick up a pencil and scribble really hard too, and try and empathize and feel how exhausting that might be, or how desperate this feeling might be. I haven't seen an art therapist do that, I just read about that. Sometimes an art therapist, if you don't particularly want to draw, maybe you are talking about a story. I've heard this work with veterans. The art therapist might be the only one to draw in this situation. They might draw you or your story. It's a way of them being able to listen and process the situation, try and understand where you're coming from, and it can also be a way of making the client sort of feel heard and seen, especially if they really don't think that they can draw. Anyone can draw. We work with scribbles. Then that could be beneficial for the art therapist to be the one to do the drawing. So what do you think? Would you prefer that you draw or paint or make clay and the therapist completely pays attention to you? Are you sort of the mindset that if the therapist is drawing their own piece, that they're not really paying attention to you? And if you're paying per session, you don't really want the art therapist to just be doodling because they're a little bit bored while you're trying to make an elaborate piece? Or do you feel more comfortable so that the pressure isn't entirely on you? The art therapist has an art background for a reason. If they start drawing it, it might make you feel more comfortable that you're not the only one who's putting yourself out there and drawing. So I don't know. How do you feel? What would you think? Do you want the art therapist to be making art as well, or do you want to be the only one making art? Let me know in the comments below. All right? Thank you.